All right, I think I'm filming. For those of you that have followed along, the 360 camera has been my nemesis. From shooting the actual video, to editing the video, to uploading the video. But today, so it's the hottest day of the year so far. It's March. It's the first day of spring. And it's like 84 degrees at 6,000 feet of elevation, which is crazy. But we just have not had winter at all. We've been this ridiculous high pressure system just stuck over the southwest. All of our moisture, cold air, is going up to upper Midwest, East Coast, where they're having brutal winter. We're having no winter. I'm sure you can see how brown it is here. It's brown. Hot too. I haven't climbed in the heat in quite a while. Yeah. Alright, I made it. Close enough. Whew. That was hard. Alright. Yeah, I can tell I'm already getting tired of smacking into rocks. Loosen up my shoulders. You get tense. That's when you get hurt. I ain't got time to get hurt. Actually, I got all the time in the world. I'm pretty much retired these days. Kinda. I don't know. Just got back from Moab. A buddy of mine called who had wanted to go on the White Rim. He has stage 4 cancer. Currently being managed really well. And but he couldn't go on the last trip because he was afraid to leave the house. He hadn't been away on an overnight since the surgeries and all that. So he called and said, if you do that again, I want to go. And I just said, dude, let's go tomorrow. And we did. We talked about it on a Sunday. And on Monday, we hit the road. 7 a.m. And we just had a killer time. Just wheeling, hiking. You know, he was a really healthy guy going into the cancer. So he could, no problem, keep up on, 5 and 6 mile hikes we did. He loved the 4-wheeler and went to some really scenic spots. Beautiful. And he's doing really well. Then I come back. My brother-in-law passed away the following weekend. And there's an opposite story. That's a guy that all he did his whole life was work. I mean, he once worked 340 days of a 365-day year. And I remember him like leaving a family week up at this little campground we went to in Canada. He left like midway through the week to get a shift in. But he loved his work. Union plumber, UAW, Chrysler. Stellantis, Audi, Jeep, whatever their ownership was at the time. He'd been there for 35 or so years. I don't think he got to retire really. He retired in poor health. Like, you know, they medically checked him out the door. Other than going on a few cruises, my poor brother-in-law didn't really do much. That's what he wanted. Whatever he wanted is, you know, he wanted to do the same stupid shit as me or anybody else. So I wanted to climb. Nothing to tell. It's slow. And slow. And we got one more little section to climb before I switch over to the downhill. And then I won't be able to talk much. I'll probably talk, but anyways, I hope this 360, I've kind of been screwing with it, and I think I can get some good panoramic and look at some of the scenery. Just a FYI, I'm riding in northern Colorado today, a place called Lory State Park. This is the Timber Trail. It climbs up to, I don't know, a little over 7,000 feet probably. Get up in the trees. Right now it's just typical, you know, sagebrush, foothill Colorado scenery. Do you know we get 320 days of sunshine here in Colorado? The guy told me when I moved here 30 years ago, you're a redhead, you're gonna get sick of the sun. I don't know if I ever get really sick of it. But I definitely get sick of gray skies. Go back to the Midwest or Eastern Canada. 3 or 4 days of gloomy skies gets on me, my nerves, affects my mood. But everyone can cope with that. It takes adjustment, right? But I'd say it is easier when it's sunny out. But God, you need water in any form. It's a dry year. Not completely unprecedented. We've had dry years before. Similar. We've only been keeping records for 40 years as far as snowpack goes, so I'm confident we've probably seen less snow, but it doesn't happen often, that's for sure. This is like desert dry. It's a 13% humidity today. 13%. I woke up and I could tell my throat was dry. I immediately, made sure my good instruments were humidified. They always are. I run humidifiers in my studio, but the ones I keep in the house. So, right. Well, we'll be to the downhill section soon. And climb. A little technical through here. But when I'm on camera, even though I don't have to film it, I don't have to show it to anybody, I always feel like I gotta clear every obstacle. Like that one right there. But I also gotta temper that with too old to fall. And I can fall a little bit. You end up in the hospital. Some people get a brief illness. I don't know if you noticed how many people lately have been passing away from the brief illness. That is something you don't want to catch. There should be a vaccine against the brief illness. And that vaccine, more cowbell. No, it's staying out of the hospital in the first place. Okay. Triple move here coming up to clear this. And I screw up, I move on. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Just gonna walk it. Walk with me, my friends. You know, I don't know if I'm concerned about like how I just biffed on that it's like early season, you know, or am I concerned that, you know, my faculties, strength, coordination, all that shit are not what they used to be. At 63, I'm trying hard not to admit that, but I'm gonna go with, I'm just out of practice. I'm gonna clear that next time. You know what? This is the lesson for all you kids out there. Walking is part of mountain biking. Just bring your bike with you, otherwise you're hiking. All right, tightening up, and I'll take the rest of this real quick. It's a little doohickey. I think I can edit this stuff out. Hopefully that stays relatively good. We're gonna film till we get to the bottom. All right. Turned into mostly downhill up here. A little bit of whoopsie climbs for a little bit. Oh man. Yeah. You know, that's always, well, back up a little bit. A friend of mine was telling me the other day, only 1% of people are like mountain bikers like this. And, you know, he said when you get into 60 plus mountain bikers, that number goes way down. And, so, you know, but I think it's any hobby, right? 1% of people are woodworkers, 1% of people are, you know, whatever your hobby is, crocheting, knitting. But I think those skills, core skills you need, stay with you, just woodworking and all the other, you know, activities like that. Mountain biking, bit of a young person's game. But I just, you know, you think you've been doing something long enough to where it's like second nature to you. But when you've lost like the ability for first nature, second nature is kind of a stretch. If that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? I was in Moab last week. I had to jump across a creek. Like it was kind of a maybe 10-foot drop. It wasn't that long. I wouldn't have thought twice about it when I was younger. But I walked up to that thing and I was like, huh, I can jump like that, you know? So I kind of put that on the list, like, I need to get out and do like some of that just basic calisthenic work that we used to laugh at these things, you know, when we were young and doing PT or doing gym class or something.